heavy and hard. You're listening to Metal Morning Drive on Metal Fortress Radio with Lady Rose and the Beast.
Hey everybody, this is Chris Caffery, and you are listening to my new record, Your Heaven is Real, on Metal Fortress Radio, 91.7 WHUS. Crank it up.
Fortress Radio with Lady Rose, the Beast, Ms. B, and Flash. And on the phone right now, we have Chris Caffery.
How you doing, guys?
Not bad. How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually, if you would laugh if you knew what I was really doing, I'm actually in the middle of making ZD, but it's like real metal people do when they do interviews. But no, I'm doing awesome. The new record's out. Sabotage just played again. TSO is about ready to go on tour, put out a new record. I mean, there's just so many good things going on. I'm really in a good place.
Wow, we were watching and reading the video. We were watching the videos, reading your information, and you went on tour. You were on tour with Fates Warning for a little bit?
Well, that was Sabotage toured Fates Warning, but that was a while ago. That was probably, that was the last The Poets and Madmen tour.
Nice.
I think that was,
so, what's going on now? What, the new album, the
well, my
tour?
new solo record, Your Heaven is Real, is out this week. It's out everywhere. Sabotage just reunited, and we played and headlined the Wacken Festival in Germany with Trans-Siberian Orchestra. We did TSO's very first ever festival appearance, which wound up being Sabotage and TSO playing together on two separate stages, which was the biggest outdoor show ever done in the history of music. It was pretty incredible. There was 80,000 people in the audience, but the two stages running simultaneously like that had never been done before. So we created like our own little history at that same time. And TSO has a new record called Letters from the Labyrinth that's going to be out in the fall, and we're going on the new TSO tour, which is actually the 19th year of TSO. It's not our 19th tour, but next year will be the 20th anniversary of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, which is crazy to think that it's been 20 years. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of good things going on.
So what is Sabotage doing a stint in the States?
Well, you know what? We did that show. There was a lot of time where people didn't even think we were going to play anything again. When we got together and we did that show, I don't know what's going to happen after that. Right now, we're all just kind of, reminiscing on what it is we just did a month ago tour, and even now as we speak, I'm sure Paul and John have discussions and plans of what may or may not happen. But at this time, I can't say for sure what's going to happen. But I think that the door is open.
Now you're cutting it close now with your other. I mean, when did you start touring with the Siberian Orchestra? That's coming up because the holidays are coming up, right?
Yeah, the winter tour starts again in November. We're going to go back out in the springtime to support the new record as well. So the winter tour, I believe this year is like only seven weeks, because we're going to turn around and look at a schedule for the following year to support the new album. So there's just a lot of really good things going on.
Okay, so answer one thing. The most important thing here is about Your Heaven is Real. With all the many projects that you've been in, what is the diversity of every project that you've done versus this?
Well, I mean, it's my most current material. That's something that came out of me and my soul. I mean, so you can always relate to things that you've done in the past and look at those times and think backwards. I mean, this record is the one that's the most current. So when I play these songs and I listen to the messages that I've had in the lyrics and I listen to it as an artist, it's the one that relates to me most currently now. So it hits the closest to home. You can always reminisce on something. You can just like looking through an old photo album and be like, oh wow, I remember that. But I mean, now it's like you listen to this, it's not like I remember it. This is what's happened.
Right.
So what's your message to your fans that have followed you through everything with this album?
I don't know if there's necessarily a message. I mean, the title itself, that came from a point in time where I had an allergic reaction to shellfish. I actually had a seizure, and I passed away for 5 minutes. So I actually was clinically dead for a couple minutes. I saw something on the other side, and that's where I came up with that title. So I think, if anything, it made me appreciate life more.
Yeah, right.
It made me I'm not afraid to die. You know, I don't want to die, but I'm not afraid of it because I had. You know, so it's like I kind of know what happens. It's not, you know, it's not painful. There's not, you just kind of just fall asleep, and your soul and your images go somewhere else, and it actually makes me feel not better, but you know, when you look at people who die in a fire or a plane crash, and like, oh my God, that poor guy suffered. It's like, you know, the moment that person crossed over, he's not suffering, and it's like, I know that, so it makes you. You know, it's just basically saying that whatever your version of it, their heaven is, it is real. You know, it's like you're not going to die and the lights shut off and you go forever. I mean, you keep going, and that's basically what the title of the album is.
Okay, here's a big question, because I believe in this stuff. Did you actually feel like, as a person prior to that moment of experience, do you feel like you totally went a 360 and you're a totally different person after experiencing that? Do you get that from your friends or family? Did you have life changes?
I had life changes, but I don't think I was totally different, you know, by any means. I think my perspectives were different. You know, when I would listen to people complain about something, I think I felt differently about it. I mean, at the end of the day, nobody's perfect, so I still, you know, make mistakes, and I still find myself doing things that I said, you know, I would never do again. And you do. It's just, but I think you're more aware of things. You know, it puts you into a different perspective.
Now, were you aware that even happened to you, or were you like, no, that's not what happened?
Well, it was just weird. I can't explain the feeling that you have. Like, basically, if you read about what anaphylactic shock is, or the thing, it's like if people say, quote unquote, you feel like you're going to die, and you do. You can't. It's weird. You actually feel like you're going to leave your body. It's really hard to explain. Like you just get this panic thing, and you're like, this is not right. I don't know what's going on.
But you can't stop it, right?
Yeah, you know, it's like kids. Yeah, I experimented. You got stoned, and you're like paranoid. You know,
right.
I think I was 24 the first time I ever smoked pot. It's like you get that paranoid feeling. Times that by 1,000. Like, you just know something really bad is going to happen, and you can't do anything about it. I guess I got up, and there was a friend of mine in my hotel room at the time, and I ran for the door, and then I had the seizure, and I face planted into the hotel desk, and luckily I didn't hit my eye or anything, but my teeth went through my lip. I have I had to get sutures under my lip, and I woke up, and I was like, I got to the hospital, and I got sewn up, and luckily CSO was on the road, and we had the next day off. But the day after that, I'm up on stage with my face sewn shut, playing a rock concert, and I was like, wow, that was pretty freaking crazy. And then, you know, it's funny, you look online, and there were people going, oh, I saw TSO last night, and, you know, this person and that person were smiling the whole time, and Chris Caffery, you looked really miserable. I'm like, I couldn't smile.
Yeah, right.
My face was sewn shut. I couldn't actually even form a smile at that point. You know, I got up on stage. My management's like, you know, we could fly you home and fill somebody in for you for a couple of days. I'm like, fuck you, I don't miss shows. You know?
Right.
the only show I'm gonna miss is when I'm dead. Then I'll miss a show.
Right.
You know, it's like, but yeah, it was definitely a crazy experience, and that was what that song and the title track is about.
How long after that did you write this album?
That song I actually wrote pretty soon after it happened. So that was, you know, almost, I think it'll be 4 years ago when that experience happened. But the record I wrote most of last year. You know, I had a couple of the songs, like bits and pieces of, but I sat down last year when I really decided, like, all right, you know what? I haven't done a record in a while. I want to get one done. And I think for the most part it was because I missed singing. You know, I wanted to sing some stuff. That song, though, was done, like I said, pretty soon after it happened. I just kind of captured an emotion and wrote that song then. But the rest of the record was mostly written last year. And, you know, even some of it was finished this year.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, some of the TSO stuff that you with like the singers and stuff, is everybody set is there a different lineup every year, or guest vocals, or is it usually always the same guys?
Well, the great thing about TSO is like Paul, he always considers anybody that has ever been in the band is still in the band. He's like,
right.
he has TSO, and it's a big family. He calls it the family. So it's like anything. Who's going to be at the picnic this year?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's what I meant. Right.
Somebody may have something else going on where they can't do it, and Paul has enough people to where, and enough people waiting and wanting. It's incredible how many people that are calling us up to be a part of this. Some of the most famous musicians and singers on the planet would love to be on that stage, but if your life at that point in time doesn't allow it, say your wife is having a kid or you're having a kid, it's like you make be like, Paul, I gotta take a year off or whatever the case may be. It's like it's just like I said, it's the TSO family. So you're part of that family, and some of us, like me, I have no life, so I'm there every year. But it's it's just me. I always tell them, I'm like, I prioritize TSO. And
WMFR, playing today's new music, loading yesterday's favorites. Crank it up.